Hey guys, welcome. I'm Evan Saint-Gerard. I'm your host, and at the time of this recording, clearly there is a playoff game happening, and I don't want to jinx this. So I'm going to take the hat off until they win. Fingers crossed. Anyway, I got my special guest today, Tony. Tony, basically introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do? How long have you been in the business?
Hey, Evans. Thanks very much for having me on. I'm glad I could make it and talk to your potential clients or current clients, whoever they are. So my name is Tony Chistoforou. I have been a home inspector for almost 23 years now. I do everything from residential to commercial properties, co-ops and condos. We do regular home inspections. I also do HUD consulting. So we do basically inspections or helping buyers or even current homeowners with different types of renovation type loan products to make sure everything gets fixed properly. And we cover all of the boroughs and into Long Island, for all your home inspection needs.
All right, so the purpose of this video, the topic I wanted to talk about is pretty much the homeowners. People already own the home. What are some things that they can do to help keep the maintenance tip-top shape for the property? Let's start with the inside. What are some tips that you can recommend for homeowners?
Sure. Inside, obviously, number one thing is, to me, anything that's going to be expensive to repair down the road if you don't take care of it. So that typically is going to be your heating systems, cooling systems, things like that. So your boiler, if you have an older home, possibly it has a steam heating system. If you have steam, a lot of the really old systems, believe it or not, should be drained and refilled weekly. And most of them should be done at least monthly during the winter. So only when the heating system is running. So people don't realize that. A lot of times they never flush the system out. It won't last as long. It won't run as efficiently. Potentially could crack the boiler if it runs out of water. So upkeep on the heating system is very important. You could also flush a water heater out if you want. It takes a lot of time. Most people don't do it, but you can. And then just maintaining any drips, leaks you have. If you have a toilet that runs on and leaks, especially if you're in the city, your water bill is going to be through the roof, and you're going to figure out what is going on. Why was my water bill $150 last quarter and it's $500 this quarter? What is happening? You may not even notice. It might be a little drip, a little leak. You just hear it running a little bit. Those are things that you should really take care of as far as inside the house. Cleaning your stove burners is important too. You want to make sure they burn clean. You don't want any carbon monoxide getting in the air. And speaking of that, your smoke detectors, right? The new ones. So I'll throw this out there quick, just so since we're talking about the maintenance. In the old days, they chirp, 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 beep every year. You want to throw them against the wall because the batteries need to be replaced all the time. All new smoke detectors, as of, I think it was about 2 or 3 years ago, remember when the law went into effect in New York State, need to have either a 10-year sealed battery, so that gets rid of all the chirping, or they need to be hardwired, meaning you need to have electric connection into your electric panel, and they'll have a backup battery as well, but they won't chirp all the time. They run more consistently. They're a lot better. Technology's better. So if you have old smoke detectors or you don't know how old they are, replace them and get new ones. And combination units are a wise choice, especially if you have a gas heating system or even oil. That'll test also for carbon monoxide. And also important, test them every month. People don't do that a lot of times. A lot of times they cook and take them down and forget. I was in an apartment the other day, no smoke detectors up. Hey, Mr. Tenant, I think it'd be a really good idea. I see you guys cooking a lot. I see a lot of grease. You should probably put at least one smoke detector back up in your apartment. Oh, okay, thank you. But they're probably not going to do it, but you really should have them.
Here's something for me that I remember learning a while back, but I think I'm going to take your advice. Pretty much whenever the clocks were changing, daylight savings time, we would pretty much change the clocks on everything, and that was usually the time that for me, I was in charge of checking the batteries and all the fire detectors and whatnot, and the carbon monoxide. But like as you mentioned, a lot of the new ones pretty much they have up to 10 years, so you don't really hear that chirping. But it's been a while as I'm thinking about this as we're doing this. Like, it's time to change these ones and put new ones in, because that's something I keep forgetting. Like, we want to check that. Another thing I wanted to mention, because I know you mentioned this a while back in a different video, a lot of people have dryers in their home and they don't clean out the filters. How often should they be cleaning them out?
They should be cleaning out all the time, especially if you have a gas dryer. They build up lint. It gets stuck in the vent. If you have a ventless electric, you're going to have to do it all the time anyway. It'll be right there and it won't work properly without it. But gas builds up an extraordinary amount of heat. It could actually melt the vent pipe or the wall or something and potentially catch on fire. So very important to clean it out. There's companies that'll come do it for you if you have a really long extension, like a vent pipe. Or you could do it yourself. They make a special brush that'll go in there. You can push everything out of it, disconnect it off the back of the dryer sometimes. But also, if you keep it clean, it's going to make the dryer work better. Your clothes, you'll notice when it gets full, the clothes are going to stay a little damp. They won't dry as well. Like, why is my dryer not working as well as it used to? Probably is clogged up. The other thing that I would suggest, and I find this a lot on inspections, if you have a gas dryer, a lot of times they'll do like this flexible like foil
Yes.
or plastic dryer vent. Those are no good for gas dryers. I do not recommend them. You should replace them right away. Companies like a PC Richard typically won't even install those. Has to be a UL listed for gas dryer vent. So make sure you put those in. Get the right one if you don't have the right one.
Okay. Well, this is the point for these videos, is to educate people. They might not know about these things, and I'm glad you brought that up. Anything else you want to mention? We already talked about the dryer. We talked about the oven. Refrigerator. How often should they clean the back of the refrigerator?
Refrigerator should get cleaned. I would say, look, if you do it at least once a year, it's probably okay. There might be a vent on the front and a cover you could take off. In addition, I would also pull it out once a year, vacuum the back of it off, any dust,
Unplug
any
it
dirt.
first. Unplug it first.
Unplug it first, but well, you can't. Well, you got to move it out a little bit, but watch the cord. And if you have a water line connected, don't pull it all the way out. Pay attention to where the water line is, so it doesn't kink and potentially break and flood everything. So pay attention with that, and then unplug it, pull it all the way out, vacuum it, clean it, do whatever you have to do. If you have a high-end refrigerator like a Sub-Zero or something like that, a lot of times the compressor unit is on the top of the unit. The newer ones actually have hydraulic shock. You lift that cover and you can clean inside. Those are very important because they can be very expensive to fix if they break.
And what about, well, obviously under the sink, that's where most of the issues are usually, the kitchen and the bathroom. How often should they check that?
Kitchen and bathroom. Another one I'll throw out there too. We didn't touch on it on the topic of appliances. Also, is your dishwasher. Your dishwasher in the basin inside has a filter and a screen that needs to be cleaned. So a lot of things get in there. Toothpicks get thrown in there, napkins, pieces of plastic that'll clog it up and cause an issue. Open it up, clean it. There's actually usually in the instruction manual will have a way to take the pump part out, like on the top of the pump where it goes in, so you can really dig it out and clean all the junk out of it, so it doesn't clog the drain or burn out the motor. So I would do that. The screen should probably get cleaned out at least once a month, and at least one good deep cleaning a year, or maybe more often depending how much you use it. In the kitchens and bathrooms, look under the sinks. Make sure there's no rust forming on the drain, because even if it's not leaking now, it's going to leak, or it could just crumble in your hands one day when you go touch it, which is not cool.
I literally had that happen last week in my own home. So yeah, this is really important. I wish I did this video a few weeks before. Then I would have checked on it. I'm like, oh, okay, we should take care of this now.
Yeah, especially like in a kitchen drain, a lot of grease, a lot of acid, a lot of things go in there, and those tend to rot out even faster.
Let's go back because I can't overlook this. Kid of Caribbean parents, we cook with a lot of grease. I'm pretty sure the people that are watching this, there is a old peanut butter jar somewhere in the house, basically with grease that's being reused constantly. I'm trying to pick my words wisely. I repeat, do not pour that grease into the sink, the toilet. Put it in that bottle if you need to and throw it out. Do not pour it in it. It's going to cost you a lot of money. Trust me on this.
So when you own a home, Evans, right? You buy a house, you're buying a house, you live in a house, you're buying, even in a co-op condo also, a lot of people are coming from apartment buildings. In apartment buildings, people throw everything and anything down in the drains. And I know this firsthand. A good friend of mine bought a house and he's like, my drain keeps getting clogged. I'm like, what are you putting in there? Oh, I'm putting these flushable wipes. I'm throwing this. I'm throwing that. I'm like, you can't do that in a house. Do not. Oh, really? No idea. It'll get caught in it, especially in an old house. Old cast iron drains. They close up. They get rust. They get all different kinds of scale and things building up. They have jagged edges and things get caught. And they back up and they clog and then they rust out the drains and you have big issues. Don't throw any junk down the drain. Grease. Here's a trick. Here's something you could do to see what grease does. Cook some bacon or some kind of a meat where you're doing a meatloaf or burgers or whatever. Keep that grease and oil in a pan and just let it cool off and see what happens to it. It turns into a brick, basically. So that brick is going to form somewhere in your drain pipe. And a lot of times it's going to be someplace where maybe there's something else and it gets caught. And now you have a clogged drain, maybe a backup in the basement, and you have a mess to clean up. So do not throw grease down the drain.
And I can speak from experience over the years. It is not cheap to get that stuff out, cleaned out, and not have an issue. So I implore whoever's watching this, please do not put grease in the toilet or any of the sinks. Like you mentioned, some paper products you don't put in the toilets either. There's trash cans there for a reason. Put everything in the trash can that belongs in the trash can. And you have to start thinking with the mindset, you're a homeowner. There's no super that's going to come take care of this stuff for you. You are the super of your own home. So be mindful of how much this stuff is going to cost if you don't start thinking in a different mindset. What else, Spacey, can you, what other recommendations can you give inside that home?
Yeah. One other thing I'll add too is if you're buying, quote unquote, flushable wipes, they're not flushable. Don't put them in your toilet. Read the instructions. It says don't flush more than one at a time in. If you use them, only put one. Why is that? Because they don't dissolve the way they should, the way certain toilet paper does. And even when you're buying toilet paper, look up which ones actually dissolve properly. For years, Scott Tissue is very good. Charmin is supposed to be good also. There's a couple that, sewer companies recommend for a reason. They break down a lot better and they tend to not get clogged up in the drain pipe.
All right. There's a lot of interesting tips that you gave us. All right. So should we go on the outside of the house now?
Yeah. So we'll go outside. So important maintenance. Number one for me outside is gutters and drains. So your roof drains off, or people don't really know kind of what a gutter is. It's just basically a long piece of metal that catches all the water, snow, whatever, and also the leaves and the dirt and junk that fall off your roof. So the more leaves and junk and debris that are in the gutter, the less water flows through it. It backs up, and now it can either back up and fall near the home, or it can go the other way and leak into the house, down the wall, causing other problems, right? So that's one part of cleaning. The other part is the downspout. So the gutter is a long piece that goes along the roof typically. The downspout is the pipe that runs down along the side of the house usually. And then you have what's called a leader, or an extension that pushes the water away from the home. The downspouts can get clogged also. They need to be cleaned. And then leaders, it's very important to keep water around 4 to 6 feet away from the home where you can, to keep it from pooling up, ponding near their house, because that creates conditions that are conducive or create a higher potential for water to get into the house. What does that do? It degrades or erodes the foundation on the outside and potentially the inside, creates high water, moisture, humidity, whatever you want to call it, in the basement, which can lead to mold, can lead to flooding, can lead to just damp and wet, nasty, smelly conditions in your house. So you got to take care of moisture.
All right. I just thought of this because basically over the years, as I'm shoveling my driveway, I've always taught this by my father when he was alive. Always push the snow away from the house. So when weather gets better and it's getting warmer, it's not, like you said, it's not ponding and pooling near the water, near the house and seeping back into the house. Is that something people should be doing also, especially near the leaders and the gutter?
Yeah, definitely keep snow from piling near the house. Get rid of it. Push it away. Leaders, again, away from the house. Walk around your house once in a while, maybe when there's a heavy rain, throw a raincoat on, get an umbrella, and just see where the water is draining. That's the best way to do it. So if you have concrete near the home, a lot of times they put it in the right way, but maybe 10, 15 years down the road, it starts to move or heave or sink, depending which way it's going and what's causing it. And that can also cause water to go near the home. So in that case, you may have to redo some of the cement, maybe put some caulking and seal around the house to make sure that, the water's not getting in. There's things you can do on the exterior to try to keep that from happening. And one other thing, as far as, you brought up keeping things near the home, don't keep wood piled near the home. So if you have a fire pit or a fireplace.
Why is that, Tony? Why is that?
So those little creatures called termites and carpenter ants and wood boring beetles. They like to harvest and keep in the wood. Also, mice like to hang out in a wood pile. So I don't think you want them right next to the house. But they attract termites and carpenter ants and all that. Plus, it builds up or will keep moisture near the home. So keep it away from the house, 100%.
Tony, I'm glad we did this video. Honestly, there's a lot more stuff we can talk about, but we just want to give people, some ideas of, just, key maintenance stuff. If they have more questions and they want to know more how to protect their home, their new asset that they have, or something they already have, basically, just to be, how did they reach you? What's the easiest way to reach you?
Yeah, easiest way. I mean, you can call anytime. Our number is 718-278-7867. You could also just shoot an email. Sometimes that's easier for people. People don't like to talk on the phone as much anymore, not like they used to. It's TS, Tom Sam, Home Inspection @gmail.com. You can search us up on Google. You can check out our reviews. You can go on our website. You can call us, or you can reach out to your favorite realtor, Evans. He knows where to find me. We can give you guys all the information you need. We have other tools that we could send to you, whether you're a buyer or a seller, as far as home maintenance, preparing your house for sale, walkthrough checklists for home buyers. So we have a lot of tools that we could share with people if you need them. So feel free to reach out. I'm glad that, Evans, that you put this together and we're able to share this valuable information with your home buyers and sellers.
I appreciate your time for doing this. And if you have questions about real estate, you want to know how much your home is worth, you're thinking about buying and selling, you think about selling, relocating, whatever it is in real estate that you're looking to do, feel free to reach out to me. There's different situations for everybody. So if you're going through a divorce and you need to sell or buy, you're going through a probate situation where there's an estate that needs to sell a property because someone just passed away. We have videos pretty much on all these subjects. We're well versed with a lot of things in real estate. So utilize our expertise, not just me, my whole team, Tony included. Feel free to reach out to us. You can reach me personally on my cell, which is always with me. It's 917-975-5985. I'll give you that number one more time, 917-975-5985. You can find me on pretty much all social media. I'm accessible to find. I'm on YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, X. I do have a MySpace page, but let's not even talk about that. Just ignore that. I was a different guy back then. But anyway, seriously though, we hope you got some education out of this. We hope you were entertained. And we're here basically for you. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to reach out to us. Tap into us, our expertise, to help you get the answers that you're looking for. Tony, you got the last words. What is something you want to tell the homeowners just to keep them in the positive mindset?
Yeah, look, just it's when you own a house, you learn quick. You have YouTube videos like these and others that'll show you how to do things. So it can be a little overwhelming. Let's say you're a first time buyer, you just bought your house and you want to maintain it now. A lot of these things can be found. You could find people. A lot of times a handyman can help you do a lot of this stuff and guide you. As far as boiler maintenance, pay attention to what the heating technician or your plumber does when he comes there. He could show you how to do some of that daily maintenance or monthly maintenance. So that way you're not overwhelmed and you can do some things, because it gets expensive to call someone for everything. But the little things you could do, the cleaning the gutters, making sure the water's draining the right way, cleaning the dryer vent, a lot of those things most people can handle and take care of. And if not, ask a neighbor, ask a friend. They can refer you somebody, and maybe they're willing to help you out.
I did say you were going to get the last word, but I guess I'm going to have the last one. Everything that Tony said, yes. Or you can just ask me. I have a maintenance list for pretty much throughout the year. I have for every season. Give me a call or ask me, and I'll send that over to you. I just want to say I appreciate everybody for watching. Tony, thank you for your time. And do not be afraid. Pick up that phone. Call us, text us, send carrier pigeons. Basically, just reach out to us when you have questions. With that being said, have a great night. Oh, wait, one last thing. Let's go Yankees.